us, because it's not only religious legalism that gets to us and is destroying the church. See, it's religious, cultural, and political and personal legalism that is fragmenting or breaking the church. See, let me explain a little bit. Let me explain a little bit of what I might call cultural legalism. So cultural legalism in our culture, like look at me, all right? In our culture, there are no absolutes, right? Like the only absolute there is in our culture is that there are no absolutes, right? Which is so strange. It's so strange. So if that is true that there are no absolutes in our culture, right, then why do we resolve so resolutely if things are not absolute? Like why do we have cancel culture if things are not absolute, right? Why do we have certain things that bug us so much, and they should bug us because this world is a broken place, but why do we respond in a pious sort of a way if there are no absolutes? Why do we resolve so resolutely if it's just, your way is your way, my way is my way, right? Because there must be absolutes that are written within every single one of us. And if we're after people's hearts, and I've had this discussion again because I'm a pastor and people tend to ask these kind of questions, but I always respond in this way. When people say, well, I'm not so sure they're absolutes, I always say, are you absolutely sure that there are no absolutes? Because if they say yes, it's like, well, wait a minute, then there's absolutes. But if they say no, then it's like, well, wait a minute, now we can start a discussion, right? Because maybe there are some absolutes. You see, there are absolutes, but we should not make absolutes out of things that are not absolute. That's a mouthful, all right? When I do so, I am actually the legalist Pharisee. When I make something so absolute, right, and so man-made, right, that I'm so legalistic about it that I push myself up in a pious way as I am better than you, then I am a legalist Pharisee. I am who Jesus is in fact talking to. As a matter of fact, there is an absolute, and I think we would agree with this absolute regardless of what walk of life you are from, because love is absolute. And again, regardless of what worldview you have, right? What if love was an actual absolute in our community and in our culture? Would this world be a better place? See, but it's not only that, and if that didn't hurt, okay, then I'm about to hurt some of us even more because there's political legalism. Because if love is an absolute, a political strategy to do so, to love one another, look at me, is not absolute. Okay? Your political strategies might be better than other political strategies, but I'm telling you, it is absolutely killing the church. Over the past 2 years, what I've seen as a pastor and as I'm kind of looking at what's happening in America, here's what I see happening more and more. There are more red churches and blue churches out there, meaning I'm going to find the people that already agree with me so that I can go agree with them on all these political issues, these man-made political issues, right? Because I already agree with them, so I can get around a bunch of people that I already agree with. Or there's blue churches, right? Then they go the same direction. Okay, if I can agree with you on these political areas, then I'm going to go start going to that church because I can be around people that I already agree with. Let me tell you, okay, I can't spend much time on this, but there should be no red and blue churches, just the church. Like if you are stuck in a community where you already agree with everybody else around you, let me tell you, okay, let me let you in on a little secret. I'm telling you, that's probably not a biblical church, okay? They might have absolute aspirations to be, but if you start looking at the scriptures, you start looking at people that are so very different than one another. You see slaves meeting with slave masters. You see prostitutes meeting with religious people and them trying to figure it out. Obviously, they didn't agree with one another. Yet, something held them together. Look at me. Love is an absolute. If love is an absolute, then we must start reflecting that kind of love. And have we become so fragile that we are unable to be around people that we disagree with, and we think we are more righteous when we do so, when we separate from other people, right? Look, God sends out his people, not just to find the people that look like them, but to bring us all back to him.